I canceled your son's $7,400 surgery, my brother said, smiling like he'd just shared good news. She only turns 18 once. The room felt unreal for a second. My dad nodded slowly. It's just a minor procedure. He can wait. My son was 8. It wasn't minor. Hi everyone, my name is Tessa. I looked at my brother across the dining table, trying to understand how someone could sound so reasonable while saying something so cruel. It's a dental correction, he added lightly. Not life or death. It's scheduled next week, I said evenly. He shrugged. The deposit was refundable. Refundable? Like pain was flexible. My dad cleared his throat. Family helps family. Your niece deserves a proper celebration. My son sat in the living room, headphones on, unaware that adults were debating his discomfort like it was a budget line. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I stood up, walked into the hallway, and dialed one number. My brother and parents are removed from every joint account, property, and automatic transfer, I told my accountant. Effective immediately. There was a pause. Are you sure? He asked. Yes. I returned to the table calmly. My brother was still smiling. He didn't understand yet. By 8 the next morning, my phone exploded with missed calls. The first knock came before sunrise. Not polite. Not hesitant. Pounding. I opened the door to find my mother standing there in yesterday's sweater, mascara smudged, panic written across her face. What did you do? She demanded. Behind her, my dad stood rigid on the porch, silent for once. What do you mean? I asked calmly. The bank called, she said, voice rising. The mortgage payment didn't go through. They said the automatic transfer was canceled. Yes, I replied. Her mouth fell open. You can't just pull support overnight, she snapped. We rely on that. I studied her carefully. The house they lived in was under my name. The one I bought after my business expanded. The one they insisted on temporarily staying in 3 years ago. You rely on it, I corrected. You don't own it. My dad stepped forward. This is retaliation. No, I said evenly. It's boundaries. My mother's voice broke into a near scream. Your son's surgery was just postponed. Canceled. I corrected quietly. By your son. The word son landed differently this time. My dad's jaw tightened. You're overreacting. I looked past them at the street. No, I said softly. I'm recalibrating. And they still didn't understand what that meant. My brother called as they stood on the porch. I answered on speaker. What is wrong with you? He barked. Mom says the house payment bounced. It didn't bounce, I said calmly. It stopped. You can't evict your own parents over a misunderstanding. I let that word hang. Was my son's surgery a misunderstanding? I asked. Silence flickered on the line. It was a timing issue, he muttered. The venue deposit was due. For a birthday party. For her 18th, he corrected sharply. It's important. I looked at my mother, still trembling beside the door. So is his jaw alignment. I replied evenly. So is pain. Dad stepped closer. You're punishing everyone. No, I said. I'm correcting entitlement. My brother exhaled loudly. You'll ruin the family over this? I thought about my son chewing carefully because his teeth hurt. About him asking if the surgery would fix it soon. You already did, I said softly. My mother's voice cracked. Where are we supposed to go? I met her eyes. That depends, I replied. On what? She demanded. On whether you think my child can wait. The line went quiet, and for the first time, my brother didn't have a clever response. Dad tried a different tone. Let's talk like adults, he said carefully. We didn't mean to hurt him. You did, I replied. My mother stepped inside without being invited. You're emotional, she insisted. It's just money. I almost laughed. It's not money, I said evenly. It's priority. She looked around my foyer like she was seeing it differently now. Not as comfort, as leverage. The foreclosure notice said 30 days, she whispered. Yes. My brother's voice cut back through the phone. You're bluffing. You won't actually make them leave. I leaned against the wall calmly. I removed automatic payments. I informed the bank the property is no longer being subsidized. That's not a bluff. You're heartless, he snapped. I thought about my son wincing when he bit into toast. You're careless, I answered. Dad exhaled slowly.
Fine.
Reschedule the surgery. We'll cover it later. Later. That word again. No, I said quietly. He's not waiting. I ended the call. My mother stared at me. You'd choose him over us? I didn't hesitate. Every time. That answer changed the balance in the room, because they finally understood something. They weren't the priority anymore. And they never would be again. They left without slamming the door. That's how I knew it had landed. My phone buzzed minutes later. My brother again. You're making a scene, he said, voice tighter now. The venue is non-refundable. And my son's pain isn't negotiable, I replied. You're going to ruin her birthday. I walked into the kitchen where my son sat coloring quietly, unaware of the storm. I'm not ruining anything, I said evenly. I'm prioritizing. He lowered his voice. Dad says the bank won't actually move that fast. They don't need to, I answered. The house is under my name. I can sell it tomorrow. Silence. You wouldn't, he said finally. I glanced at the framed photo on the wall. My parents smiling on the porch of a house they'd never paid for. Try me. He scoffed, but there was uncertainty beneath it. You've changed, he muttered. No, I replied calmly. I stopped absorbing consequences that aren't mine. That afternoon, I called the surgeon. We're keeping the original date, I said. The deposit was reinstated within hours. By evening, my mother texted again. Your father says we need to discuss property ownership. Now they wanted clarity. I was ready to give it. In writing. The discussion happened at my dining table that night. Not theirs.
Mine.
I laid out the property documents neatly, sliding them across the wood like I was presenting a case. The deed is in my name, I said calmly. You've been living there rent-free for 3 years. My dad avoided my eyes. It was temporary. Yes, I replied. And now it's over. My mother's voice trembled. You're forcing us out because of one disagreement. No, I said. Because of repeated entitlement. My brother joined by video call, jaw tight. You're weaponizing money, he accused. I looked at him evenly. You weaponized my son's health. Silence. Dad cleared his throat. What do you want? There it was. Not understanding. Not apology. Transaction. I want acknowledgement, I said softly. That canceling his surgery was wrong. My brother scoffed. You're dramatic. I didn't flinch. I'm firm. My mother folded her hands.
Fine.
It was wrong. The words sounded forced, like they cost her something. I held her gaze. Not to me, I said quietly.
To him.
No one volunteered that. And that told me everything. Because an apology you can't say isn't one you believe. The house was never the point. Character was. And they were still failing. The surgery happened on schedule. I held my son's hand as they wheeled him back, and for the first time in weeks, my chest felt steady. The procedure went smoothly. The surgeon said the correction would prevent years of pain. That was enough. While we were still in recovery, my phone vibrated. A notification from the bank. Property listing request confirmed. I had signed it the night before. Not impulsively. Intentionally. When my parents saw the listing online, they called immediately. You put the house up for sale? My mother gasped. Yes. You're serious, my dad said quietly. I always was. You'd really displace us? I adjusted the blanket around my son carefully. I gave you 30 days. My brother cut in, voice sharp. You're vindictive. No, I said evenly. I'm consistent. There was a long pause. Then my dad asked the question he should have asked weeks ago. What do we have to do? Not to keep the house.
To keep me.
I didn't answer immediately, because the house wasn't leverage. It was a boundary. And boundaries aren't negotiations. They're decisions. I finally spoke. You start by apologizing to him. Silence filled the line again. And this time it lasted longer. They showed up the next day. Not at my house, At the hospital, my son was sitting up in bed, cheeks slightly swollen, watching cartoons when my parents stepped inside. My father looked smaller than usual. Not physically. Structurally. My mother held a gift bag like it could soften impact. My brother wasn't there. "Hi, buddy," my dad said awkwardly. My son looked at me first. "It's okay," I told him gently. My father swallowed. "I was wrong," he said slowly. "What I did, canceling your surgery, was wrong." The word wrong sounded foreign in his mouth. My son blinked. "It hurt," he said honestly. "I know," my dad replied, voice cracking slightly. "And I'm sorry." My mother added a softer apology, less rehearsed. It wasn't perfect, but it was direct. After they left, my phone buzzed. The first offer on the house, above asking. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I declined it. Not because I forgave everything, but because accountability had finally entered the room. The house would stay in my name. The payments would resume under a written rental agreement. No more assumptions. No more automatic access. They thought I'd drop it if he apologized. I didn't drop it. I restructured it.